So here's the switch that's out, that's bad. The one on the right is the bad one, and the one on the left is the new one, replacement. These are both normally closed switches. You can see when it gets closer. Probably hard to see here, but in NC right there, you see that NC. That is a normally closed switch. And when you take it, you can just press it and see there's no recoil, versus this, the good one, the red one. And when you pop this thing open, it's got a little shell casing right here. You can see that the spring steel inside here is no longer springing back. This it is deformed, so it stays, in this case, in the wrong position. So we'll take it, point, we'll test it for continuity, so we get continuity tone on. Here, so you can see. Right, that's fine, but when you press it, it never goes away. So it's always closed, even when you depress the switch to open it. Do it again here, same one, supposed to be, right? Then let's depress it. No more tone. Release, depress, release, press. So this is indication. So just read the label, whatever it is. In this case, it's a 16 amp normally closed switch, and you'll be able to even take the model number that's on the switch, which is impossible to see right now, and compare it, or just the specs, to make sure the specs are at least meeting what the existing switch was, so you don't have a switch that doesn't perform to the voltage and amperage that you need. And this is the switch assembly. I put a little note on it. Replace the switch, September. These, in this case, are different switches. This switch here, the other two that are in here, are normally open, so they won't tone, they won't have continuity until you actually depress the little button right here. You can see that there's a little arm. That's one, and the other one up here just gets pressed in. And these, you'll see, have no tone when you touch them, because they are normally open. So just check each one of these, make sure you have the continuity based on if it's open or closed. Then physically actuate the switch, or use the door itself. Here's the door. So you see how that, you will see in there when it catches that it's going to depress that switch physically. And down here there's actually the little rocker arm that looks like this. So when you push in the little hook there, it doesn't actually hit the switch, it actually hits this little rocker arm, that little pivot joint right there, and depresses the switch. Versus the one above, that's bad. This one, the normally closed one, this was defective, so the door would engage with it and not open up the switch. So just replace it, $5 later, you'll be good to go. The microwave open, checking the fuse to make sure the fuse, it doesn't have a problem. In here you can see the fuse, and you can see it's not blown. Now, the safe bet is to take this out, obviously, take this whole cage off and go in there and check, but in my case that wasn't the problem, it was actually the switch. So if you can just visually inspect it as well, and then move on to your switches. So you notice to take this control panel off, typically just push up right here with the door open, push the whole thing up, and a lot of models, they just come right off. But this model, this GE model, has a screw up top. You see sort of a slot, looks different than everything else. Right in there. And right down there, there's that tab with that screw hole. I've already taken it out. But to put this back together, you're gonna have to put that back in there. So what I did was, took the screw, just took a piece of Scotch tape, put it firmly on the screwdriver and somewhat firmly on the screw, just to see kind of on the edge. So as soon as you start turning, it won't break. That way, you won't lose the screw, hopefully, through the in the process. Let's see if I can do it with one hand. I got it in the holes. Switch from the side. There it is. So now you can get that screw started with a long handle screwdriver, and you don't drop the screw going into the. Look, I'm gonna pull it out, and I'll finish tightening it up with my good hand. Lastly, take the last 3 screws or however many you have, put them back in. Well, in this case for black, you can actually take this off. These I could in mine without actually taking the unit off of the wall, because you see the sort of line of demarcation there. That's kind of where the cabinet's been sitting. And if I was to do this again, I would see I could get to it from here too. I wouldn't even have to take this whole microwave off. I could have just done it up on the wall, like save me the time and effort of cleaning out the upper microwave assembly. And I notice here, just have to get these to align first. See how they're kind of cockeyed? Get them all to align first before you screw this in, because there's a tab under here. There's a tab under here. You have to get right. So get the alignment done before you put your screws in, of course.